What is going on, everyone? My name is Under the Radar, and today I am so freaking pumped to be bringing you guys the PPL D1 Season 3 roster that I have drafted. If you did not know, if you somehow missed the insane amount of subtweets on Twitter to each other about how Jack Snipes, how Fufu is a jerk, but we love him, and all this other nonsense, the draft happened throughout this past week. Because we figured we wanted to take our time with it. We wanted to make sure that everybody thought out their drafts and everything like that. And I think it actually worked out a lot better. It ended Thursday. We started Monday, so it took like 4 days to complete the entire draft, and it was really awesome. I'm not gonna lie when I say that I think this is probably the best draft I think anybody has ever had, just because we all took our time. We didn't rush any picks. Nobody was like keyboard warrioring each other to like hurry up and get their picks done, but it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. I think that we got an amazing team. I think everybody got an amazing team, to be honest. But real quick, I kind of want to go over what I originally wanted because a lot of people don't really believe me when I say like some of the things that I wanted throughout my first initial draft. However, I got sniped to all shit and back. And, well, not really all shit and back. I only got sniped 3 times, but there were 3 key members of the team to where I had to completely change my entire draft. So, the first draft that I had in mind, this is not in any order, these are just the Pokemon that I wanted. Okay, so I wanted Mega Bayonet, Fortress, Azumarill, Reuniclus, Flygon, Jolteon, Umbreon, Infernape, Hitmonlee, Amoonguss, and Persian. Now, that's kind of what I wanted. I kind of also wanted Skarmory, Azumarill, Infernape, Jolteon, Cresselia, Flygon, Umbreon, Hitmontop, Simisage, Persian, and Mega Bayonet. I also had one where I wanted to take Klefki. The first one is not really exactly what I wanted. The second one is more of what I wanted. Skarmory, Azumarill, Infernape, Jolteon, Cress, Flygon, Umbreon, Hitmontop, Simisage, Persian, Mega Bayonet. That was what I wanted. But I also had a draft that was hyper offense around Mega Lopunny, Lucario, Flygon, things like that. I also wanted Mega Gyarados, Skarmory, Sylveon, Cresselia, Flygon, Jolteon, Infernape, Umbreon, Armaldo, Simisage, and Persian. Those were around what I wanted. As you will notice, a lot of it freaking changed. Not really a whole lot of it, but some of the key points changed as to what I wanted. I'm also going to be going over like where I got sniped and things like that throughout the draft, because some of it's kind of important, you know. It is what it is. But with all that being said, let's go ahead and jump right into the first pick. So as you can see, the first pick that we actually got was Infernape. Now, going through the first round of the draft, it was actually really stressful because a lot of things went that I didn't think would go. I had 10th pick overall, so I was at the very end of the draft, so I got to see basically what everyone else picked, and I could kind of sort of pick accordingly as to what I wanted. This was also really nice because it allowed me to take 2 things. If I knew one would get sniped on the way back around because it was like part of a core that I saw somebody else was making, I could take it instantly and kind of sort of stop it from creating their core and help it towards myself, which is honestly really what I did more than anything. Pardon me. So I took Infernape round 1. Victini was taking the pick before me, so I wasn't going to get that. I wasn't going to take Victini no matter what because I don't like its base 100 speed, anything like that. But basically there was 1, 2, 3 megas taken: Manaphy, Mew, Clefable, Latias. So a lot of psychic types were taken round 1. So I figured that would mean a fighting type would want to go along with them for other people. So I was like, okay, Infernape is the best round 1 pick. I picked Infernape. It has U-turn. That is one thing that I think I greatly lacked last season. That kind of forced me to lose a couple of my games, which, you know, I like U-turn, I like Volt Switch, I like everything like that. And up to this point, nothing had been taken that I wanted at all. So I was really pumped. Infernape, it also can go physical or special. It's a rocker, it's a taunter, it has priority, it's kind of sort of fast with base 108 speed. It has base 104 attack and special attack. So like I said, it can be mixed, but I mainly wanted to start off my Fire, Water, Grass core immediately. Because last season, the grass types that I wanted kind of sort of went really quick. Like Tangrowth went very quickly and things like that. So Chestnut went very quickly last season in D1, so I kind of had to watch out for all that type of stuff. But Infernape was one thing I knew off the bat, somebody was going to take it. If it went back around, it was not going to make it back to me, no matter what. If I passed it up on these two picks to get something else, it was not going to make it back to me. So like I said, I did greatly want to start my Fire, Water, Grass core, and I think Infernape is probably one of the best offensive fire types in the game. That might be a little bit of an overstatement because of Darmanitan and Entei and Victini. However, Infernape is not weak to rocks. That's one thing I wanted. I did not want a lot of rocks weaknesses. I did not, if I could, I didn't want any. And it also has priority as to where out of the four that I just mentioned of Entei, Darmanitan, Victini, and Infernape, Entei is the only other one that has priority, and that does not get U-turn. This thing also has some really weird coverage moves, like it gets Grass Knot, which is really cool, Earthquake, which is awesome. I love Earthquake, it's probably one of my favorite moves in the game. Close combat spam is really hard to fight. Like, if you can spam a fighting type move, you're basically set. Also, Stab, Flare Blitz, it just hits really hard. And it also got really cool filler moves like Gunk Shot and things like that in Gen 6. But ultimately, I thought that I could build a team around this very effectively, because I'm really good at building bulk from low tiers. I'm really good at making bulk work where I can, so I could kind of sort of pick and choose what bulk I wanted after people were started to get their Latias and Sylveon and Scizor and all that other bullshit. So I knew I could pick around with it, and it was relatively cheap. It was only 14 mil. If you guys don't know, we have 110 mil to spend throughout the entire 11 picks. He was 14, so that's not too bad for a first pick. I was kind of happy with that. I thought it was kind of a steal. But that was my first pick of Infernape. I'm so happy with it. Makuramon, gonna be a great first pick. So as I said, I had the 10th pick overall, so I decided with my second pick to pick Azumarill. Fire, Water, Grass core. This is also a fairy type, so it starts the Dragon Fairy Steel core, which I think is very important. I think the Dragon Fairy Steel is actually more important than the Fire, Water, Grass. That's just me. This thing actually has 3 really good abilities. I only put 1 on the screen. However, it has Thick Fat, which is very good for offensive fire types, because, you know, it base 100 and base 80, that's not super duper high. However, it can get boosted really well, along with things like Weavile are a pain in the ass. Things like Mamoswine are a pain in the ass. Granted, base 50 attack really hinders that. However, it can make it work. It also has Sap Sipper. Things like Mega Venusaur can't hit it hard with both stabs. It can only hit it hard with one, and then it gives me the attack raise. That's something to keep in mind. Sap Sipper is awesome. Back in the day when I used to do the Lithio League, I actually got swept by a Sap Sipper Azumarill because I had a Mega Venusaur, and I just kept spamming Giga Drain because well, the first time I was like, well, he has an Azumarill. He's not going to switch that in. Got Sap Sipper boost and started to just take me out one by one with a Sap Sipper boost. So Azumarill is really cool. It also has priority. That's another thing. I also really wanted to have a lot of priority in this season. That's why I wanted Mega Bayonet. That's why I wanted Azumarill and Infernape. I wanted a lot of priority. It can kind of save games if you think about it. Like if you're about to get swept by a Pokemon that has 10% of health left, how are you going to beat it? With priority, because if it's at +1 speed, you can't outspeed it. So priority is very important. This thing also has really insane move coverage. Play Rough, Waterfall, that's basically all the fuck you need. However, it also gets things like Superpower, Ice Punch, Knockoff. It has some really awesome moves. I love Azumarill. Buddy of mine, Super Gassy. Shout out to Super Gassy, by the way, for making the logo that you see in the background. I fucking love it. That's amazing. He also made the battle layout that I'll be using this season. So thank you so much, Gassy. I'll leave your link in the description below because you're the shit. But Azumarill is just really cool, you know. It can really start to make my core come together, and ultimately these two together form a really good offensive presence that I don't think I would be getting Otherwise, if I let Azumarill go, I would be willing to bet money that either Sam or, hold on, there's one other person that I thought would take it because they drafted a fairy type, they drafted a steel type round 1. I had a feeling that either Jack, Shroom, or Sam was going to take Azumarill, and I was like, no thank you. So I kind of sort of had to take Azumarill. It's really good. And now we're going to move on to number 3. However, I want to talk about a couple snipes that happened because, like I said, since I'm number 10, there's like 20 picks until it gets back to me, so I was going to get sniped, obviously. I wasn't expecting to get everything I wanted. However, I did not get sniped all the way until freaking Jack. The Dawn Fanatic took Skarmory. That was very important. Skarmory was very important for my roster. Gave me a Defogger, gave me Stealth Rocks, Spikes, gave me a Phaser, gave me so much that I wanted to have in this draft that the fact that he took it was kind of like... So, I kind of had to play around that in the next little bit. Aside from that, I didn't get sniped this round, just the Skarmory. Yep, so with all that being said, let's go ahead and look at my third pick. So, since Skarmory got taken, I had to basically take the next best Steel, Rapid Spinner, Stealth Rock, Spike setter in the game, and I took Fortress. I don't like it. 4 times weakness, that's... Okay, hold on, let me rephrase that. I like Fortress as a Pokemon. I think it's very good. I think it's very good in draft format because it gets a Volt Switch, it gets Stealth Rocks, Rapid Spin, Explosion. It can be a momentum gainer. It can be cool. It can be used very well. However, I fucking hate 4 times weaknesses. I cannot stand it. Slap a hidden power on something and you're basically fucked. I don't like it. So to pick Fortress over Skarmory was really depressing for me, to be honest. I kind of sort of wanted to shoot myself in the foot, but I got sniped. I had nothing else I could do. And the good thing, I had to kind of look optimistically about this. That was a big word, by the way. Since I took this was only 9 mil. Also, Azumarill was 16. That's a steal. Huge power, priority, belly drum. Fucking 16. But this thing was only 9 mil compared to Skarmory's 15 mil. So what that meant is that I got 6 more mil to spread out through the rest of my team, which is very good because if you look at things like so if you go from the 5 mil, you're looking at things like, hold on, let me pull up the pricing. Okay, so in the 5 mil, you're looking at things like Gourgeist, Electivire, Girder, and things like that. So if I had a 5 mil and then I wanted to add 6 to that to take me up to 11, you are now looking at things like Breloom, Chansey, Chestnut, Cobalion, Dragalge, Florges, Porygon Z, Porygon 2, Registeel, Tyrantrum. So that 6 mil can go a massively long way. Like, it's kind of insane when you think about it, that just one snipe could kind of sort of blow it out of the water. But let's talk about Fortress. Volt Switch, amazing. I now have a U-turner and a Volt Switcher. One of them is a wall. Slow Volt Switch. 140 defense. That is stupid, insanely good. I love it. Absolutely love it. 4 times resistance to grass, which is very important because some teams do have grass types. So if I pack on an Akaberry or something like that, it's very easy for me to just paralyze them, do that kind of stuff. This also gets Thunder Wave. Awesome. Toxic. Awesome. I love this thing. I just don't think it's weak. It's typing. It's kind of like Scizor for me, but less cool because it's slow and doesn't hit as hard. But base 90 attack is not the worst. It's also something that's very good for a rapid spin. I wanted to have multiple rapid spinners and defoggers. In my original draft, I had 3 of them. I had 2 rapid spinners and a defogger. That's ideal for me. That's what I like. I don't like to be a hazard stacked. However, if I can limit my rocks weaknesses and spikes, and if I can get a grounded poison type, then I'll be set to go. But Fortress was a very good pickup for me. I really enjoyed it, and I think that it'll be amazing. Guardromon, gonna be the shit, by the way. Azumarill, Antylamon, Bunny. I know, I love Digimon. But Guardromon's gonna be really cool. I'm really excited to use it. So, let's move on to the next. So, once Fortress was picked, I was like, okay, I originally thought I wanted Tangrowth, but now I have the extra cash. Let's go with Amoonguss. Starts a Regenerator core. I love Regenerator cores. I think they're some of the best cores to have in the League format. I've had I've had one before and it was amazing. Having a Regenerator core allowed me to get a 6-0 just because he couldn't break it down well enough. So I think it's very nice to have a start to it. Even if it's just one Regeneratormon, it's better than having none and having to rely on self-recovery instead of just switching out. It's my opinion. Also not weak to rocks. Very amazing. Grounded poison type. Immune to toxic spikes. So soaks it all up. This also gives me a Spore user. Spore is very important in the League format. I think it's really weird because not many Pokemon get it. I think only 3 if you count Smeargle. Just shit, to be honest. So being able to put something to sleep like that instantly, because this thing isn't O-code by basically anything. It's fat. It's amazing. This thing also has really cool coverage moves. This thing allows me to not get swept by a Manaphy. This allows me to not get swept by a Manaphy. And a Slowking. Kind of. Not really. Suicune. That too. Fuck both the water types. Clear Smog. That's basically what I'm talking about. This thing can get rid of any status or any stat boost instantly with Clear Smog. It's amazing. It's really good for Mega Altaria, things like that. Sludge Bomb, Giga Drain, Clear Smog, Hidden Power. Foul Play is really cool. I like Foul Play in League format too, because if somebody wants to boost on you, Foul Play. This thing is kind of sort of like, in my opinion, it's a less awesome Clefable, because it can set up. However, it's immune to toxic, like Clefable is with Magic Guard. It has about the same stats. It's not that it's fat, it's that it barely lives hits and can dish out kind of sort of well, put things to sleep, toxic things, cripple things. That's what makes Amoonguss so good in my opinion. But Mushroomon, fantastic. I'm excited to use it. I've used it before. I know how to use it. I know how it works. I know the sets that I know, like the way its EVs work and its capability of living hits. Mushroomon is going to be fantastic. I'm really excited to use it. So next up we have Blobby Schmurda. Shout out to Vinny again. But we have Reuniqueless. Reuniqueless, it's something that I wanted from about round 2 maybe, but I saw that so many people were taking psychic types. Okay, so real quick, I'm going to count up the teams that have psychic types within the first 3 rounds. We have Mew, Megalodios, Latios, Mega Gardevoir, and Starmie on one team, Jirachi, Victini. Latios was taken round 1, so there was a lot of psychic types that went, so I was like, there is no freaking way that somebody's going to take this psychic type when they already have a psychic type, so I kind of waited as long as I could for it. But the second I took Amoonguss, I was like, they're going to know I'm going to be trying to start a Regenerator course, they're going to snipe it, so I took it as soon as I possibly could, and I took Amoonguss. Now, I mean not Amoonguss, Reuniqueless, I'm stupid. Magic Guard, amazing. Toxic, I'm not affected by. Stealth Rocks, I'm not affected by. Spikes, I'm not affected by. That is absolutely fucking amazing. Regenerator, if I want to be able to run like an Assault Vest variant to take on certain special walls and live extra well, because I can't run Recover, I can just run Regenerator and Assault Vest and hit kind of hard because it has base 125 special attack. That's stupid strong. This thing also is kind of sort of like a better Clefable at setting up Calm Minds with Magic Guard in my opinion, because of its typing. Its typing limits it to being weak to certain things, like it's mainly weak to Dark and Bug, which in my opinion is now less common. Bug is, not Dark, because knockoff. Less common than Steel and Poison, because everybody's like, oh, I need a Fairy Killer, but they forget about bulky Psychic types. This thing also takes on Fighting types fantastically, which at the moment I don't have a problem with. However, I know for a fact that Cobalion is going to get taken. I know for a fact that things like Lucario are going to be taken. I didn't want to risk me having a weakness to fighting later on, so I wanted to grab my 4 resistances right now, say fuck your fighting types, and get them off my field. This thing also gets really weird coverage. Like Drain Punch is really cool. Berries on this thing are absolutely fantastic. Trick Room. My team is looking pretty fucking slow, don't you think? We have base 30s, we have a base 40, I think, a base 50, and then a base 108. So Trick Room, fantastic. I'm gonna run Trick Room, Billy Drum, Azumarill. You watch, and it's gonna get a sweep. This thing, it just kind of sort of starts my... It could finish my Regenerator core depending on how much money I wanted to spend and what I wanted to do. But this is probably one of my favorite picks of the draft. I'm really happy. I love Reuniqueless as a Pokemon. I'm really freaking excited to use it. And I'm hoping I can be good with it because Vinny was absolutely amazing with it in the D-League. Like, he's the one that kind of sort of brought Reuniqueless to light, kind of how Joey did with Manaphy. Just my opinion. But Numemon, it's going to be freaking amazing. I'm really excited to use Reuniqueless. So before I want to get into this pick, I kind of want to preface this by saying this is probably the most controversial pick and the only pick on my entire draft that I can be like, yeah, probably not the best pick I could have made. Here's why. As this round was happening, I just got in from work. It was... Sorry if I'm playing with a thing. I just got home from work. It was probably 8 a.m. maybe, 8 a.m. my time. I was in a call with Raiquin and Travesty and a whole bunch of people like that, and I was kind of sort of doing calcs between them, because the thing about Alomomola is that it's straight up setup fodder. Like, realistically, it is. So I kind of wanted to take a look as to whether or not this thing would be suitable for what I had left and what I wanted. Also, this round, the electric type I wanted got sniped. I believe it was the electric type. Hold on one second. Let me double check. 1, 2, 3. No. The round I took Amoonguss, my electric type got sniped. So I was kind of sort of screwed. I wanted Jolteon really bad. It was a cheap electric type that I really wanted, so I was kind of screwed, and I was kind of sort of winging the rest of the draft. But, Alomomola, it's setup fodder. I realize it is. However, it's not complete setup fodder when you think about it. Because, while yes, it is fat, it's there mainly to keep everything else healthy. Things that don't have reliable recovery, like Fortress, like Azumarill, like any potential other attackers I could have that don't get reliable recovery, things like that. Or other walls that I could get that don't have reliable recovery. But I don't like walls like that, so I try to stay away from them. But having a Wish Passer, having something that gets Mirror Coat, because everybody looks at this and they're like, okay, setup fodder, let me bring setup, and then they don't set up high enough, it doesn't kill me right away, and then I go for Mirror Coat and it can bop them. Another thing is this kind of sort of forces and kind of sort of like spoon feeds people, like, here, set up on me. And then I don't bring it, and then it's kind of like, well, that's kind of fucking useless now. So that's kind of one thing that I had to think about. I was choosing between this and Seismitoad. I kind of wish I had taken Seismitoad, but I'm honestly glad I didn't take Seismitoad, because if I did, that would be another 4 times weakness. And I'd already planned one other 4 times weakness, and I don't want to have 3 of them. It's not cool for me, boo-boo. I don't like that shit. But Alomomola, while yes, it's probably the worst pick of my draft, I'm not disappointed with it in the slightest. I fully stand by this pick, and I think that if I mean, worst case scenario, I drop it, and then I have 1 less Regenerator Mons. This gives me 3 Regenerator Mons too. That's something else to think about. If a team doesn't have that much setup, like if they don't have setup that I'm scared of, like a Calm Minding setup, because that's the worst type for me to play against, is Calm Mind setup. If they don't have that on their team, then it's fat. It eats hits. It can Scald Burn. It can do basically everything I want it to. It also gives me a really good opportunity that if I want to, I can stall people. You gotta have a safety net somewhere, guys. But Alomomola, Coelamon, I'm okay with it. Other people might not be. I'm okay with that. Opinions are opinions. Everybody thinks that their draft plan is better than yours. Everybody thinks that what they think is better. You're gonna have your opinions. I have mine. That's fine. This is the draft that I have. I have good hopes for Alomomola. I've seen people use it really well in draft format, but we'll see what happens with it. It is what it is. So the next thing I wanted was actually an all-around wall. I wanted a Cleric, not something that could just get wishes up, but something that could heal burns, because if Azumarill gets Scald Burnt, I want to heal it. I don't want to have to live with constantly dealing with having a paralyzed Infernape or anything like that. Somebody could hazard stack me, and I don't like that. I'd rather have a lot of Wish support and Heal Bell support, so I drafted Umbreon. So there was an actual thought process behind this. Fighting is not a problem for my team. at all. It's just not. If you can look at Reuniclus, Amoonguss, Infernape, really, because most fighting types lose to Infernape in general, and Azumarill, and you think that I have a problem with fighting type, jump off a cliff. I don't have a problem with fighting types. Bug types, yeah, they're kind of a little bit of a problem, but I can fix that up later. I'm not that worried about it. So I was like, you know what? If like something wants to Thunder Wave me and then set up on me, here it is. This can also be toxic bait if I want it to be, if I want to toxic another wall. This thing also gets priority, gets Sucker Punch. People don't realize it, but it gets Sucker Punch. And if they're running a frail Psychic type, like some were drafted, it could be awesome. It also gets Pursuit. So I now have a Pursuit Trapper. While granted 65 attack is not the most powerful Pursuit Trapper, it's not a bad Pursuit Trapper. It still gets damage off. It's still base 80 stab Pursuit. So it's not the worst. This is also kind of sort of my knockoff switch in. If I'm facing a team with like a Weavile or something like that, or a Mamoswine, this can come in on a knockoff, and then I don't have to worry about having my my Reuniclus take a stab dark type move or anything like that. So overall, this really synergizes with my wall core. This is an amazing wall core in my opinion, because I have 3 Regenerator Mons, two Wish Passers, a Heal Beller, I have a Volt Switcher in them, I now have a Baton Passer in them, and I also have things that can hazard stack and get rid of hazards, all in my wall core. That's one thing I like to do when I draft, is I like to draft multiple Mons that if I go into a match, you guys know by watching how many seasons of the LBA and how many seasons of like the NPCC and PPL and things like that, I don't bring 6 walls. So for anybody that says that my team is too passive, suck my ass. It's not too passive. Why would I decide to bring Alomomola, Reuniclus, Umbreon, Fortress, and Amoonguss all to one match? Because it's too passive, right? No, it's not too passive. Think about this. I have a lot of walls. I can pick the ones that work the best, go with it, slap on my 2 hard hitters that I already have in the beginning of the draft, that I know I'm going to be getting some really good hard hitters later on because the types that I want have already been taken. They're not going to get sniped for me. I'm not worried about that. So, another thing that I also got to thinking about, if I had spread out these picks a little bit, like if I had taken, at this point in time I knew the Mega I wanted, I knew what I was going to get. If I put that in the middle of all my walls that I'm drafting, it wouldn't look so bad. But I'm drafting 5-6 walls right in a row. You're like, well, it's too passive. It's not too passive. I have a lot of bulk to complement the offense that I want for each game, depending on the game. Think about that. Like, that's a good draft. Having options. Not being forced into one thing. I don't have 3 walls. I'm not going into a match saying, 2 of my walls really suck this game, but I have to bring them anyway, otherwise I don't have switch-ins to anything. Think about this. So I have a lot of fat. This thing is awesome. I love Umbreon. Sorry for the little rant right there, but it happens. But I love Umbreon. Dobermon is going to be awesome. I'm really excited for it, because it's a fucking dog. But let's go ahead and look at my next pick. So my next pick was Miltank. I had a couple reasons for this. I realized it's another wall. However, if you look at my team, if I decide not to bring Alomomola, I'm a little bit weak to fire. If you kind of sort of think about it, like Victini can run through my team depending on its coverage. So I wanted something to switch into Victini, to switch into things like Entei. I have a thick fat user. Now, another thing, this thing also has 3 really good abilities in Thick Fat, Scrappy, and Sap Sipper to get an attack boost. So it's not the worst idea to have this thing. Also, it's a normal type. Normal type is immune to Ghost. Ghost is kind of sort of really common, along with things like Chandelure and other really weird ghost types like that. This also gives me another Cleric, another Heal Beller, another Rocker. Right now I only have 2 of them. I like to have at least 3. Even though rocks really aren't a priority on my team, I like to be able to have them just in case. But this is also, again, something that is not weak to rocks. I have no weaknesses to rocks so far. That's amazing. If you can go through an entire draft and say I have no weaknesses to rocks, you're good to go. Right now I have none. Also, I've been kind of sort of slacking on the prices. Fortress, 9 mil. Amoonguss, 11. Reuniclus, 12. Alomomola was 8, and Umbreon was 9. So, was spending my money very cautiously at the same time as getting a lot of bulk. This thing also gets really cool setup options. Curse, Body Slam to get paras, Thunder Wave for instant paras. This thing has the ability to paralyze ground types. That's freaking awesome. This is just something that I really enjoy using. It also is base 100 speed, so it's faster than basically every other wall out there. So if I needed something to like outspeed it, or if I wanted to speed creep like offensive mons but still be really fat, I can. So if I want to outspeed a Hydreigon that's Life Orb and paralyze it to stop it, I can. So that's really nice. I like having fast walls, or things that can be fast and be walls. So Miltank was a really good pick in my opinion. It was very cheap. 5 mil is a steal for Miltank. Self-recovery. All of my walls, aside from Fortress, have self-recovery. It's fantastic. It's freaking amazing. Something that everybody should want in a wall. Self-recovery, rocks, status, cleric. Perfect wall right here. Perfect. It's just a shame that its stats aren't the best. Base 95 HP isn't the best. Spadef isn't the best, but its defense is really good. So Vajeramon's going to be really cool. I'm really excited to use Miltank. Jordan used it very well last season. I'm very happy with it. Now, let's go ahead and move on to the next pick. So, this next pick, I'm tired of people shitting on it. Flygon is one of those mons that I love using. I've used it in the LBA. It did amazingly. It was very, very hard to stop because you instantly expect, hey, I'm going to be choice scarfed. Base 100 speed is not an instant choice scarf. I had a choice Banded Darmanitan run against me last season when I had things that were faster than it by a long shot. So this thing is really cool. Gets U-turn, fantastic. Base 80 defense and HP is not frail by any stretch of the imagination. It's also an immunity to Earthquake right now, which I'm not weak to, but it's nice to have an immunity to Earthquake every now and then, especially if you want an electric type, which I wanted one. This thing also has really cool special coverage. Flamethrower, Boom Burst, Draco Meteor. There's a lot that this thing can do. Bug Buzz, if I want to hit set up sub psychic types. There's a lot that this thing can do that's really awesome. Dragon Spam is really good, especially for teams that only have like one resistance or a fairy. It's amazing. I'm happy with Flygon. I don't understand why some people are like, Flygon sucks. Flygon's shit. Jack and I actually have a bet that it's going to get 3 or more kills against him. I'm okay with that bet. I can do that shit. No problem. If I'm just being honest, I love Flygon. Flygon's amazing. But honestly, there's not a whole lot to talk about. It's just a dragon type. It's pretty fast. It hits pretty hard. Gets outrage. You know, it's really cool. And this thing also opens up doors for me to run like berries on it, because it's another 4 times weakness, which I now have 2. I'm not going to get any more 4 times weaknesses. I refuse to. I hate 4 times weaknesses. So I'm really excited for Flygon. Flygon's going to be really good this season. I can already feel it. Kabuterimon. Kabuterimon is also the shit, might I add. This thing isn't a bug, but Kabuterimon looks like a bug. This thing looks like a bug. It's fucking Kabuterimon. So, a lot of people were kind of sort of shitting on my team for not having a lot of offense. And a lot of speed. You want speed? You want offense? Mega Manectric. Happy birthday! This thing, I kind of sort of knew I wanted it the second that Jolteon got sniped from me, because I wasn't going to take Raichu. I wasn't going to take Electabuzz or Electivire again. I wanted something that was really fast. I wanted something that could outspeed Crobat. That's really what I wanted. This thing also has Intimidate. It's fantastic. I have a really fat team. Let's add something to lower other opponents' attack stats so they can be even more fat. I like that. This thing also has really simplistic move coverage. Volt Switch, Thunderbolt, Flamethrower, Overheat, Hidden Power. That's really all it needs. It's just there to be an electric type and hit hard. It's basically a faster, more strong Jolteon that can't run into Choice Specs or Life Orb. That's basically what it is. But Raidramon is my favorite Digimon of all time. Like, of all time. I love Raidramon, so this thing is going to be shiny no matter what. I'm so excited for Mega Manectric. I've seen it used very well in the GBA and the LBA. I've seen it used very well everywhere. I needed speed. I needed offense. So this was my main offensive presence. Now, let's have a little bit of a throwdown. Miltank was 5. Flygon was 6. This was 17 mil. So I had a lot of money left over. Well, up until this pick. Now, I only have 3 mil left. There was one Mon that I knew from the very beginning that I wanted in my draft. No matter what, I was going to pick it last. Actually, here's a little tiny, well, in the chat, Pair of Exiles, Liam, fucking awesome dude. I love Liam. He's really cool. He's also a dirty little hoe. But he was saying how Pussy should always come first. And I said, Pussy comes last in my draft. I wasn't lying, because I got Persian. Okay, so on a serious note, I've done a lot of calcs with Persian. This thing has really cool move coverage. Technician is absolutely amazing. Whenever you think about it, base 70 attack with Technician is not super bad. Because it gets access to Fake Out, U-Turn, Knockoff. 3 of the best moves in League format in my opinion. This thing also gets access to really cool coverage. Play Rough, Gunk Shot, Icy Wind, Shockwave, Nasty Plot, Sucker Punch. Like, this thing just has an amazing move pool. Also, here's a little calc for you. Shroom, if you're watching this, you've heard this before. Shroom has a Latias. A Jolly Life Orb Persian's Bite does 52 to 63% to a max HP Latias. That's Jolly Life Orb. Base 115 speed. Mako stuff. This thing is, it's not amazing, but it'll be a lot of fun to use because it has so much coverage that if I see a team that's really weak to it, I can be like, hey, 4 coverage moves, bam, good to go. Technician boosted, hidden powers for things because it doesn't have a fire type move. Like, it doesn't have Flame Burst. It doesn't have anything like that. But it does have Water Pulse. That's a water type Technician boosted moves. So it's basically a Scald or a Surf or close to it, basically. I don't know the exact powers of Surf. But this is a very cool meme pick. I really enjoy it. It's something that that'll just be fun to use. I like to have at least one meme pick in the entire draft because you got to have fun somewhere, right? Like, people were drafting things like Noctowl, Bunnelby, like it's Spinda was drafted. Trying to think, Girafarig was drafted. Like, there's a lot of really cool stuff that was drafted. So I was like, you know what? Pussy comes last in my draft. Well, guys, there you have it. That is my roster for PPL D1 Season 3. I love it. It's offensive, it's fat, it's Volt Tourney, it's Baton Passy, it's Statusy, it's Hazard, it's really cool. I like it a lot. I don't think I could have done much better in my draft. The only thing I could have maybe done better on was Alomomola, but everything else I'm super happy with. Like, super freaking happy with. But if you guys could, let me know what you think of my draft down below in the comment section. I realize people aren't going to like the Alomomola pick. I get it. But aside from that, because I already know that that's where a lot of people are going to say that Alomomola was too passive, all this, that, and the other. I don't really care about Alomomola. You guys have heard that I know that it wasn't the best, but I'm comfortable with it. So aside from that, let me know what you guys think down below because I would really love to hear it. This has been a very long video, and I had a lot of fun making it, a lot of fun in the draft. I'm really looking forward to this season. I have a lot of high hopes, and I hope that you guys are looking forward to seeing me travel my way through. Real quick, also, there is a lot of teams and I'm really excited to face. I'm not looking forward to facing Shoddy for a couple different reasons. A, he's a cunt. If you lose to him, he never lets you live it down. But I don't think I'm going to lose to him. I'm going to beat him this time. Because last time we battled in like semi-league format, he kind of sort of kicked my ass with a Sludge Bomb Crocodile. So there's that. I'm really looking forward to facing Jack and Shroom. I'm really looking forward to facing Fufu. Sam is a really good buddy of mine. We work together on the D-League. I'm really looking forward to facing him. Just because he also has a really disgusting team. If you haven't seen Sam's team, go look at his team and tell me that you're not shitting yourself, because I am. But this team is absolutely fucking amazing. I'm really looking forward to it. But like I said, I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here. Hope you guys have an absolutely fantastic day, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!